Welcome back to the Figure Fight Club. I'm your host, Pat, and I have with us this video, Mike.
What's happening?
For today's video, we have our figure of Doctor Strange from the Marvel Legends series. He's in his astral form. So we thought it would be fun to see if he could survive an encounter with Peter Venkman from the Ghostbusters Plasma series. It's one of our favorite movies from back in the day. And Doctor Strange got a lot of powers, but in his astral form, he's kind of limited. So let's get into it.
All right, so we got a couple questions here. They're both doctors, so we got to put some respect on Ray's name here.
So Doctor
I meant
Strange is a
Peter.
medical doctor. It's not really going to help him in a fight. But then we got Venkman. He's an academic doctor.
Yeah,
Is that
and he has fought a sorcerer before, right? Vigo the Carpathian was in the painting, so he has experience with sorcerers. Um,
all right? So with the Ghostbusters 1 and 2, who do you think was the tougher villain that Venkman had to defeat?
well, Gozer was a god, so that's how I was going to work my way up to that. So I figure they got rid of a sorcerer, but he did have help. So
Okay,
that's
so
one
they
of the
did
questions.
defeat a god, but then Doctor Strange, he went up against Dormammu, which I guess maybe a god
But
or
not,
just
I
another dimensional being. I don't know.
guess, godlike. Same
Yeah,
thing, even Thanos with the stones was
yeah,
pretty
I
much
guess on
godlike.
the level of god tier.
But once again, he wasn't in his astral form.
Hmm.
So that's kind of, like you said, it limits him. Um,
All right, so I did a little bit of research on the astral forms.
I also hate that I called him Ray instead of Peter earlier. So let me connect
I
that.
didn't even
Wrong
catch that.
Ghostbuster. So continue. Sorry.
So in the astral form, he is kind of limited with what he could do. If we're looking back on like the first Doctor Strange movie,
Yeah.
he doesn't have all his powers. He can kind of interact with like the material world a little
Yeah. And
bit.
that was before he was Sorcerer Supreme. He was just learning how to do things too. Like, obviously, he
True.
powered up a lot since then. So.
So does being Sorcerer Supreme, does that come with some extra powers? Because now Wong is Sorcerer Supreme. So is Doctor Strange like kind of throttled back, or does he still have all his skill sets?
No, I think he has more skill sets.
Okay.
It all depends. Like if you go a movie and if he's still holding the eye, then it's like a
Yeah.
different story. Um, Here's my question, because it's almost similar to, because Peter's by himself, but he needed to cross the streams to defeat these guys.
Oh, that's a
So
good
he
point.
only has the one. But then I go, do you know it's kind of a similar when he did the Thanos, where like what was it, the Crimson Bands of Sidorak? When he was older, I was like, is he crossing the bands of the Crimson Bands? But yeah, I think him being by himself might limit him as well. And are you going to be able to contain him in
Well,
a?
he does. The figure does come with the little containment unit.
Oh,
So
okay.
could he slide that out? Does that only work on ghosts, or would it work on an astral projection?
I don't know.
I don't know. Good
That's either
question.
as a ghost or the soul.
Now switching gears a little bit,
Mhm.
we got Ghostbusters, obviously New York through and through.
Yeah,
Doctor
Doctor Strange,
Strange
New York.
is from Greenwich Village down in the city.
Yeah.
Like, who's more New York? Like, who's got the grit?
Oh, Ghostbusters, 100%.
Ghostbusters is definitely a
Yeah,
dirtier group.
yeah. Doctor Strange, he's like he lives in a nice brownstone now, all
I
that.
think
Like,
Doctor Strange probably eats his pizza with a fork.
and they like it is like he's a doctor, like he was a medical doctor there, so he probably grew up in like Connecticut, but tells everyone he's from the New York
Yeah.
City, like one of these guys.
Doctor Strange actually pays to park his car
Yeah,
in New York City,
yeah,
so you can tell he's a different breed than Peter Venkman.
yeah. And then I go like the teleportation rings are cool and all that, but I still would rather be whipping around that Ghostbuster ambulance thing. That's the most iconic thing
Yeah,
ever.
if you offered me a sling ring
Yeah,
or was it Ecto One,
yeah,
I would definitely take a ride in Ecto One.
facts. But I don't know if that's going to help beat them. But honestly, me, in my opinion, once again, mortal by himself versus, I guess Doctor
Well,
Strange mortal,
he's
but
got his proton pack though.
yeah. But I don't know. He's Sorcerer Supreme over here going up against that. I think he's a little more powered up than, the little gargoyle dogs. What was that thing's name? Remember
Oh,
that?
yeah, I don't remember. They this figure comes with part of them as the build
Zool.
figure.
Zool
Zool.
was a
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right, Zool. I could have just flipped over the back and looked at it there.
But yeah, I think they had trouble with Zool, and I don't think I think Doctor Strange can handle Zool.
All right. What if Rick Moranis showed up as a last minute backup?
Does he have his shrinking capabilities, or are we not that multiversal where we could switch movies? Because I don't know, maybe Rick Moranis blew up the Marshmallow Man too, and it was all interconnected like the multiverse. Maybe that's how he got so big. But yeah, no, I think I'm going Doctor Strange in this one. Just over like his power set is just I think too much for one Ghostbuster. Maybe if all four were there, different story.
Okay, we might have to come back to that another video if we had the full set of all the Ghostbusters, and we'll keep Doctor Strange kind of limited in his astral
Yeah,
form.
I think
Maybe they could take care of things.
there's no strange busting going on in this one.
Yeah, that's final thoughts. Like, I guess astral form is not a ghost,
Yeah,
so he might be out of his element, and maybe the proton.
I think it goes right through him. I don't think
Yeah.
it catches him, anything like that. So,
Okay. All right. I guess we'll have to give this one to Doctor
all
Strange.
right.
Let us know in the comments if you disagree. And we're gonna jump into our final segment here, where I introduce my newest acquisition, and we're going to discuss who they could go up against and some of the powers. So I just scored a great deal on a 1 day sale on the Big Bad Toy Store for this Marvel Selects Juggernaut figure. He's absolutely massive, and as we all know, the Juggernaut is a pretty powerful figure from the Marvel Universe. So I know you've always been a fan of the
I
Juggernaut.
love them. It's one of my favorite designs. Drawn. This toy is phenomenal. I'm sorry, collectible is phenomenal. No disrespect. Um, I just always like the big, huge, strong, like him, Hulk, Thing, Colossus, all those guys. But I've loved his design like forever, and I just think he's awesome.
All
So
right, so if we're gonna pick somebody from another comic, movie, TV universe without anything definite, we'll have to think about this.
it's
But
gotta
I'm
be
thinking it's got to be another bruiser.
gotta be a strong guy, and
Yeah, he's
you're
got to be
thinking,
like S tier.
yeah, whatever universe they're in, they have to be the strongest one there. Obviously like Hulk and him, like they're on those power levels, and then you get into all the cosmic stuff. But just pure brute force, he's top tier.
Hmm.
So I was thinking maybe He-Man, like
Oh, that's a good one.
he's the strongest. He looks more like he should be fighting Ram Man, but he would just crush him. They got the similar fits, but I think He-Man full power.
Now, I was trying to
We
think
could
of
fight.
somebody from the DC universe, but they're just so
Yeah,
powerful that
everyone's
I think
power.
a lot of them,
Yeah,
especially like, I don't want to put a flyer up against Juggernaut.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so he's going to be coming up in a video soon. So if anyone else has even better ideas for who the Juggernaut could fight and who maybe the Juggernaut could defeat in a fair fight, let us know.
all right, have a good one. We're out of here. Go Doctor Strange. See you, Peter.